What is the real story of what happened in the 2024 election? A new book is out, and it is full of juicy, never-before reported details from the Biden, Harris, and Trump campaigns. It is called Fight. It is the third book by veteran political reporters Amie Parnes and Jonathan Allen. It debuted at #2 on the New York Times bestsellers list. Joining us now is co-author Amie Parnes, who reports on politics for The Hill. Amie, thanks for joining us. The book is fantastic. I can't put it down. It's so good. And I understand it's your...
It's #1. It's #1.
It's now #1. So to move over, Maria Shriver, with your debut at #1, we appreciate it. Who needs that poetry? Let's get some real juice, right? So we appreciate that. And happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It means a lot that you're joining us on your birthday. So we just saw President Biden back out. Big part of the beginning of the book is all about Biden and how did we get to this point of the debate where there just was this collapse. And one of the questions I had is, did you feel like the Biden family and his friends knew what was really going on with him and then tried to hide it? Or did they really just not know?
I think they were just, they felt like he had earned his way to a second term, that they had, a very successful first term, and they pointed to the economy and other issues that they felt like they had succeeded in. A lot of people say there was a cover-up, and that's what my co-author John and I have tried to get at. We let people decide. I mean, in this book, you will see there are details and revelations about, President Biden facing Representative Eric Swalwell from California and not knowing exactly who he is. And Swalwell has to kind of cue him and remind him who he is. And that's pretty startling, considering that he ran against him in 2020 in the primary. And Swalwell is always in front of TV cameras. And, the old classic Biden wouldn't need a reminder of who he was.
Yeah, and one of the other stunning things in this was just how much it appeared that Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama were not thrilled with the idea of Kamala Harris being the Democratic nominee. And behind the scenes, we're trying to potentially create a mini primary to stop her. What was it about her that worried them so much?
They just didn't think that she could win. And Nancy Pelosi told a confidant at one point during those 24 days, she said, if he goes, she goes. That was sort of her way of thinking about it. And she and the former president, Barack Obama, they were very into, bouncing around and toying with this idea of an open primary. They tried to talk to people about it. Nancy Pelosi was definitely hearing from colleagues and listening, thought of it. Obama was also calling people, including Jim Clyburn, wondering if that was going to be an option, if he would back that. And Clyburn actually went and backed Kamala Harris because he knew that Barack Obama might try to rope him into that idea. And so you could see that they were really trying to come up with an alternative because they didn't think that she could win.
And Jim Clyburn is a longtime congressman from South Carolina. And so that day when Joe Biden sort of shocked the world and said, I'm not running, there was this time where he called Kamala Harris, and you report that Joe Biden wanted some space to be the hero, for everybody to talk about him, how great it was that you were stepping back. And Kamala Harris said to him, Joe, you need to endorse me today.
Yeah. She was very adamant. She knew that there were other forces behind, other people trying to maybe run against her, and she knew that time was of the essence, and she had to really galvanize everyone, including her partner, Joe Biden. And so, yes, he wanted to take a victory lap and a breath, and he wanted to maybe endorse her a few days later. But let's not forget there were, close to 107 days left. She really needed to get this going, and she knew that she had to have his endorsement. So she pushes him on it. And he comes back and says, okay, let me talk to my advisors, and then comes back and endorses her. But that was what was going on behind the scenes. And what's so interesting about that moment is that morning, her aides and allies, her closest confidants, were in her pool house at the Naval Observatory in Washington at the vice president's residence, and they were gathered to figure out, when if he did drop out, how they would go about sort of moving forward and pushing her to be the nominee.
Yeah, and then it happened that day, and then she had to scramble. And one of the things that also was sort of interesting that probably a lot of the national reporters haven't picked up on is the moves from California Governor Gavin Newsom. And you were hinting that he was testing the waters. Was he kind of running a shadow presidential campaign? Talk to us about what Gavin Newsom was doing behind the scenes when it looked like there may be an opening in the presidential ticket.
Yeah, I think he was talking to people who would listen about what that might look like. Of course, he ends up not doing it, but this is someone who has flirted with the possibility of going and running for president for a while now, and obviously wants to continue to do that. And people thought that he was definitely a viable prospect. I mean, this is a guy who was swinging and taking punches at Republicans at a time when Democrats were really, really thirsty for that sort of thing. And he's sort of appealing to a lot of people who want to see that fighter and have that. They like that sort of instinct in him.
So even though he said to us for so many years, I have sub-zero interest in running for president, I'm not running for president, don't ask me about running for president, was he secretly running for president, at least for a few days?
I think you're always running until you're not running, right, Alex? We've both been around these people long enough to know that that's sort of their MO.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because now the next campaign has started, and you could argue he's still running. Thank you so much, Amie. Again, the book is fantastic. It is called Fight. Jonathan Allen, Amie Parnes, #1 bestseller. Thank you for joining us on your birthday. Hopefully you get a little bit of fun tonight.
Thank you so much. No, I'm just spending some time with my son, which is the best sort of birthday I think anyone could ask for.
You've got a lot to celebrate after a big year. Amie, thanks so much.
Thank you.